it's the nursing home, you know, that we do business with.
Is there money in the nursing home budget for meals by department?
No, that comes out right out of dietary, because it is part of our. That ends up in our cost.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that when you have other departments coming down, and I think that Rob said, you know, he'll feed anyone who comes, but the issue is, as we look at the escalating price, the cost of food,
yeah,
and the numbers, and I think, what did we count one day, 36 free meals, at least I did, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, the volume of meals, you know, is increased.
mm-hmm.
So for those other departments that are coming down for a free meal,
yep,
there's no mechanism, so another department isn't charged. You know, we can't say that we can't expense.
Right.
That service.
What's the difference between a planned meal that goes to the residents and what people can pick and choose from? How do you? There are certain prices on those pick and choose items. So they would pay for that. And for the resident meal, there would be a figure charge for that.
Well, yes. You know, we're running a resident meal. We run 5-week cycle menu. So I have 3 5-week cycle menus right now. One for the residents,
yeah,
one for the correctional facility, and one for the cafe. So
why would the correctional facility be any different? Wouldn't that be the same?
Because of their population and, you know, what.
Because of special.
No, you know, I try to keep a value priced menu for DOC.
Okay, I got you.
And things that they, you know, they're more, their population, you know, they want higher calories, more bulk. You know, our residents, you know, don't, and our
shouldn't.
Yeah. So. It's a balancing act, but I need to keep the DOC, you know, satisfied, and, you know, a larger portion of meal for them.
Okay.
Works, and we're pricing for that.
Okay, so those people that are outside the jail and the nursing home that get a free meal, can they pick and choose?
We have.
Or do they have to take the?
We set the free meal every meal time. So there is a staff meal. We call it the staff meal for breakfast, one for lunch and one for supper. So it's set by us so that we're utilizing, you know, the food in-house, and, you know, we're creating items based on production. When
someone other than the staff at the nursing home or certainly they can't come out, but when other than the nursing home, for example, comes in, county attorney's office or sheriff's department or something like that, do they have a choice of? You said it's a buffet, but you also said something about sandwiches. So do they have a choice of doing the buffet or ordering a sandwich?
Not for the free meal. The free meal has to be what I set the free meal as.
But if there were no free meal,
then they would be buying either a sandwich for $2, or they could have, you know, the entree and 2 sides for, you know, $3.
Okay.
So a sandwich is $2 and a sub is $3. Is that what you're saying?
No, the sandwiches are $2, but an entree and 2 side dishes is $3.
Still.
So we're only talking about the sheriff's department, the county attorney's office, and the county administration, yeah? The jail and the nursing home still getting their meals.
Correct.
And their free meals.
Well, that's what you have here, but it might be that some other, for example, the farm people.
Registry of Deeds.
Registry of Deeds. They would also be encompassed into this new policy.
Anybody other than the jail and the nursing home would have to pay.
Yeah, I mean, still have an opportunity for a good meal. That's certainly a value price, for sure.
Right. And you would it not be easier for you, bookkeeping wise, just to have them pay it when they pick it up rather than have to charge it?
Absolutely. That's what I prefer, is that, you know, it becomes a cash transaction.
Exactly.
I think the management of the nursing home needs to pay too. I think we're getting a good salary for getting a free meal.
Well,
I remember quite a while back when Brenda Presby was the commissioner, she negotiated with the union, and at one point in time, everybody paid for their meals. And I remember a member of the delegation who was opposed to that, and I believe the next round of contracts, the nursing home then received their free meals again. I don't know whether there's a problem in collecting the money or why it was changed, but anyway. I guess my feeling is that people ought to pay for the meals, other than the jail and the nursing home. And I think they ought to have a fair price, that we're not going to be going in the hole, and that it ought to be at least $3 for a lunch. Now, if they pick and choose, then that's up to them as to what they pay, right?
Correct.
But still, we're not going to go in a hole on those pick and choose type items.
Correct.
Right?
We'll be covering our expenses.
So that said, how do the two of you feel about that?
Like I said, I think that the management should also pay in for the nursing home. And I had a couple people were asking me, but I didn't know the answer. But Dad, I have Sandy here. I don't. How much are you making a year? What is your salary?
A salary?
Yeah.
Well, that's public
Public
information.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have that. Do you know what it is?
Well, I think you could go to the department
Yeah, but you
downstairs
know
and
what
they'll
it
ask.
is.
No, I don't feel comfortable talking about my salary.
No, you have that information.
Where is it?
You have
Where?
that information. In fact,
I don't have that.
it's in the budget.
it was, well,
In the
besides
budget?
that, it was sent
No.
out, the survey that was done by the New Hampshire Association of Counties was sent out to all delegation members, and we each got a copy
Oh
of
my
it.
God. Oh, really?
And all the salaries are in there. It's all public knowledge. Getting back to, we're changing the subject here. How do you feel about charging for meals? And who are we going to charge? And what are we going to charge? And when are we going to stop?
Well, I was under the impression from the outset that anybody other than the nursing home and the jail were going to be paying.
Okay,
So,
all right.
given that
You
we
agree with
opened
that,
up to that.
Asher?
That was agreement again? I didn't hear that.
The agreement is that everybody pays except for the nursing home and the jail.
So the management of the jail and the management of the nursing home getting free meals?
Yes.
Oh. I don't agree with that. I think the
Well-
rest should, I agree with that portion, that everyone else should pay, the other departments.
Okay.
I agree with that.
We've come to some agreement anyway. And what
But I
should,
think we should include the management of the jail and the management of the nursing home.
Well, in as much as these people have no options, they cannot go out to seek,
they have an option.
They cannot go out, but they can go in a nursing home cafe, they have an option.
They can pay or they can bring a bag lunch.
I
There
see.
are
It's
options,
always an
but,
option,
um,
because I mean, we are charging maybe LNAs of, let me see, we are charging maybe register of deeds or other people who have pay maybe $34,000 or $40,000 a year, and pay maybe every day for their meal. And other people making twice as much and getting a free meal.
Rob, for the resident meal that somebody would pick up, is $3 a reasonable fee to charge?
For that cafe meal of the day?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You agree with that?
With pick up
Yeah.
meal, yeah.
I mean, I can charge based on what the cost of the item is too. I mean, if you give me some flexibility, I can have raw food cost be, say, 50% of what the selling price would be, or a formula like that, so that we can keep, pricing.
Wouldn't it be
based
fair
on
to say
cost.
$3 for a lunch, and sometimes you make a little bit more, sometimes you make a
That
little
would
bit
be
less,
simple.
but you're not going to go in a hole?
Correct.
Okay.
Could do
You
that.
said-
I'm just thinking of making it easier for whoever's at the cash register. It's $3,
Mhm.
and that is for every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Well,
or is it different?
It would be different, so that the lunch and the dinner, where it would be an entree plus 2 sides, where in the morning, if somebody just wants a muffin, it would be 50 cents.
That's a pick and choose item, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You said residence meal.
Hmm?
Do you mean employees meal? You said
No, I mean
residence.
the resident's meal. The resident gets a meal.
Yeah.
That, if somebody wants that, a non-resident wants that meal, they would be charged $3.
Oh, okay.
Okay? All right, when would be a good time to make this effective? I guess, do you agree with the $3 lunch meal?
I thought it was $2 for a sandwich.
No, if you pick and choose,
Okay,
that's what you pay.
fine.
But if it's a resident meal and a non-resident wants that meal, they pay $3,
Okay.
right?
So that's the buffet.
Right, so it would be the
What you got?
entree.
Not the buffet.
The entree of the day and 2 sides, $3.
Okay.
Entree and 2 sides. Okay.
Suppose somebody just,
Sandy has,
If
Yep.
if there will be a delineation for management, whether it be the nursing home or the jail, I think that has to be defined.
yeah,
has to be defined.
who's management?
Who is management?
Yeah, we haven't got into that.
Well,
That's the next stage.
okay, all right,
Right now, we're talking about people other than the nursing home and the jail
okay.
paying for their meal, okay?
The sup is $2, right? Or sandwich?
Sandwiches, correct.
Sandwiches.
And
But
then
the
we
sup,
have,
are you calling that a sandwich too?
yes,
Like the sup is same as a sandwich.
Is there an
Yes.
additional
Sup
cost
or
for
sandwich.
drinks?
except
To pick
coffee.
and choose.
Coffee right now, we're not charging for. And in that free meal price, there is the beverage if somebody wants a glass of milk or
Mhm.
juice
That's included?
included in
So-
that price. But soda is not. Soda they have to pay for.
How much is the soda?
This is
50
$1.
cents? $1?
Right, so
So
it's
in a
$1 or
drink-
$1.25.
So in a $3 you get a drink.
If it's milk or if it's juice.
If it's healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's whatever the
it's
resident gets.
Well,
It's a
not
$3
always.
meal.
It's not always what the resident gets. It's based on, the utilization of, product that's on hand. If we have items that we can roll into a new entree because we had it on hand yesterday, or we are receiving,
Mhm.
items from USDA as well, and there are some items that we roll into a new entree. It may appear in the cafe and not be served to the residents. The goal is, as close to zero waste as we can get.
Okay, does that answer any problems? What I see now is that everyone pays except for the jail and the nursing home. The regular resident meal is $3. The rest of it is pick your own, and it's priced accordingly. And when do we want this to go in?
And they pay, and they pay.
They pay.
At the time that they pick up their lunch or dinner or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
okay.
Pay on demand.
And effective date,
Okay, I'll give in to the first.
you give in if 1st of April?
Yes.
Okay, somebody put that out to to everybody that that's going to be in effect the 1st of April. Everybody pays except for right now, except for the jail and the nursing home. Okay?
I think it has to come from the office.
What's that?
It would have to come from our office.
All right, we'll put it out then. Does that solve some of the problems?
That helps.
Of the issues?
Yes, absolutely.
What else would you need?
Just in looking at the accounting for the revenue that's generated from the cafe, that there be a line item for that so that we can refer back to that as having an effect on dietary expenses.
You worked that out with Kathy Gary?
Yep.
There's some items I mentioned to you on the way up. Somebody, and I don't remember who it was, but they said we could save some money by not, and they're small items. Maybe they add up, maybe they don't. You're better off telling me if they do or not. But, for example, the salt and pepper package that goes up to the different households, they get wasted. They don't get used, and I don't know whether they get sent back or they're thrown in the rubbish or what. I don't know what the cost is. If it's a penny or two, I don't know. The paper plates and the paper cups, I forget what the other item was on there.
Scheduling.
Scheduling, I don't know what that meant.
Always the problem, scheduling. But I assure you, we look at every expense.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for ways to save, and when it makes sense, we will implement it.
Yeah.
And I do work it out with nursing, and we have gone at times without putting salt and pepper on the trays, and then we'll get a call back, please put the salt and pepper back on the trays. And then
Can't they be put on upstairs or at
it
these?
can, but some residents are eating in their room. It's their choice whether
Yeah.
they go out to the congregate dining or to the to their dining room in the
Right.
neighborhood.
Right.
So then, if they don't have the condiment on the tray, we're not providing them with something that.
But the small kitchenettes, they can put that on the tray.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
And then they would know who needs them and who doesn't. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So that whole process is evolving, and it's going quite well.
Okay.
What about, and having nothing to do with, but what about the excess or additional foods that you could get from the USDA if you had storage space? Is that still something? That you
Yes.
would
I
be
mean, if we can retain the freezer in the old nursing home,
Mhm.
that would help us, because I can take advantage of the periodic distribution
Right.
of some really good items
Mhm.
that in the past I have not been able to take advantage of.
Would that help reduce costs?
Well, yes, it would. I mean, whether we'd see it, it wouldn't, percentage of what my total budget is, it probably wouldn't make a huge impact, but certainly would help.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, do we need to make this a motion?
I think we better.
Go ahead.
I move to change the present policy, to reflect that any county employees, except for the nursing home and the jail, will pay
Pay for their meal.
pay for their meals, whatever the going rate is at the time,
Effective the 1st of April.
effective the 1st of April.
Okay. You agree with that, Asha?
Like I said, I think that the staff of the nursing home and the jail should pay into the management.
Okay, that's not in the motion right now. Do you agree with the motion?
Like I said, I want that the management also paid for the nursing home.
That's not in the motion. We're acting on the motion, so
Only.
do you agree or don't you agree?
Well, partially, I agree that they need to pay all the other ones, department that we talk about, but I want to add it to the management of the jail and the stuff.
We'd have to
So,
vote on
for
on
now,
that.
no.
For now, no, what do you mean?
I like to add it management and from nursing home.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
Put
The
it
mo-
as
the
amended, we
motion
would vote
is-
on it.
The motion is for everybody but the jail and the nursing home to pay for their meals, and effective the 1st of April. I'll second the motion. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay.
Opposed?
You're opposed?
Yeah.
You're opposed to everybody other than the jail and nursing home not paying for the meals? You don't want them to pay for the meal?
Like I said, I wanted to pay, but I want to add also the
We can do
management
that
of the
later,
jail
I guess.
and the
What we're
nursing
voting
home.
on is
Put in an
everybody
amendment, we
but
vote on the
that.
amendment.
All right. All those in support of the motion, we already voted. So voted. Anything else, Rob?
No, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Robin Reed. This lady over here, are you here for a particular, I don't,
I am here because I am not familiar with commissioner meetings.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're just you're here as a public.
Correct.
Very nice.
okay, good. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You got the resumes I left on your desk?
I just done this.
Okay, good. Yeah, there's, so you have 4 coming in.
Yes, I have the question. I didn't do that before. You didn't put it on my desk.
I thought you had
The
it.
report. That's for non-public.
I thought you
The
had
one
it
from
recorded.
Sandy. The
Yeah,
one
I
from
have
Sandy.
it, but I
Yeah.
thought you had it.
That's
you-
like I said, it's for non-public.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't put public stuff.
Oh,
on it.
okay, all right, sorry.
Okay, here you go. for us.
There's a couple of trainings and a conference that I'm gonna share. These are for you folks, so if you can take one and just pass it down.
Here's another one.
This Primex one is free.
That, yes, yeah. As long as we're still part of Primex, which we are. Or-
I would assume that you're going to be going to these. No?
Well, the Primex one, yes. The other one, Ann Ayton had passed on to me. I don't know if one of the board, or several of you, or all of you want to participate in that one.
$99?
In Manchester?
Oh, that's something else. $119. Register now.
That one's about public records and open meetings.
Might be a good one for you, Asher, to go to. Designed for attorneys, public information, records managers, city managers,
This one?
county and municipal officials, law enforcement officials, and school administrators.
Public records and. So find out what New Hampshire law has to say about balancing the public's right to information with the individual's right to privacy if you're involved with a public entity or if you represent media. You need to know the ins and outs of federal and state public records and open meeting laws.
I guess
Yeah, that looks good.
I don't understand this, though. It says, yes, I would like to attend, $329 per person. And then over here it says, register now, receive a free manual. And that's for the manual.
We're looking at the same thing.
$329 there.
Yeah, but look, I got one that says, special offer, bring a colleague, save $200.
I was going to say, if you look, sometimes if one or more go, you get a break.
Oh, I see, you're looking at the other side.
So you know who's going from here, this county?
I don't know if anyone else is attending. Anne just shared that with me. She felt that she didn't know if...
Or if she's going?
I don't think she's going to go.
Oh, okay. Well, let me read some more.
Okay.
Because it's 2 pages.
It seemed informative. I thought you might be interested.
Yeah, and when is this coming out?
May
May.
15th.
In May.
May 15th.
So what about meetings?
On one side it says, special offer, bring a colleague, save $200. I got you.
That's a Tuesday, May 15th.
So it's $129 for the second number.
Oh, I knew that name sounded familiar. Okay.
Hmm?
I knew that name sounded familiar.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. What else you got?
Did you vote on the union contract?
No, I think we'll do that in non-public because it's a contract.
Which contract are you talking about?
The
union
nursing
contract.
home for union contract.
The negotiations.
And we need to do the selection of recording secretaries in non-public? Okay.
I'm reminding you about.
Do you have a bid for our IT?
Mhm.
We put that out for an RFP. When this says confidential on here, how do you interpret that? Not for public?
What is that all?
Well, this is a bid for technology for...
Is there a single bid, no other bid?
I had 3 people inquire. I sent out the RFP to 3 people and 1 responded.
So what are you talking about, for what?
This is for IT?
For IT services.
For the whole complex?
So we have only 1 person responding?
Yeah. I had 3 inquire
Uh-huh.
and 1 person responded to the RFP.
Oh, and we have...
So these were due last Friday, right?
No, they were due March 2nd, I think. I'd have to look at the RFP.
Yeah. Can I ask Mr. Rich a question? I see he sits here.
Yeah,
I have a question.
go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I have a question.
John?
There you are here.
Yes.
I get a while ago a letter from your attorney, and I wonder why I get a letter from your attorney. Was attorney from Laconia.
What was it in reference to?
It said something about you didn't have any equipment or something from the sheriff's department.
Captain Myers had asked for some information pertaining to his email, and it wasn't my position to give him that. Any information he would request needs to go to you, the commissioners. It's not my decision to give that information. If you ask me to provide it to him, I will. But we felt best that my attorney